Now, this is not something that I wish I had learned 30 years ago, or they don't want you to know, or something what all the pros use, or makes you better instantly, that you did wrong all this time. No, none of this all. And that's too bad for the attractive thumbnail title. However, it is something that sounds really, really cool and isn't hard to play. So, when you want to break free from your major, minor and pentatonic scale chops and licks, you might want to explore more interesting sounds, right? And that is what this lesson is all about. It is about two minor sisters that disguise themselves as a dominant mistress. Oh. Now, this improvisational idea we're going to discuss is about improvising over either a dominant 7th chord or an altered dominant 7th chord. It will work best if the dominant chord resolves, because that is not always the case. Well, first a quick word about the altered dominant chord. Now, these kind of chords are very unstable dominant 7th chords, like uranium-235, where either the 5th is raised or lowered, or the 9th is raised or lowered, or both 5th and 9th are raised and lowered. I mean, these are super altered chords and are very unstable. So the idea is to play two minor family chord arpeggios over a dominant chord in any progression you like. It can be a jazzy 2-5-1, but also a proggy or fusion style progression containing a dominant or altered dominant chord. It makes no difference. So that is the contradiction, right? Minor chords for a dominant function. Now, I don't know if you have heard of the altered dominant scale or know what it is, but if not, then watch this section so I can explain what it is and why it is an important scale. Now, first of all, it is one of the few scales that actually can't be used all that well as just a scale. I mean, over the A minor 7th chord you can fiddle around with the A minor scale and you do alright, but not with this scale. So, why learn it then? Well, it is because of the absolute amazing set of notes that occur when using this scale in a certain way over a dominant chord. Now, the altered scale or altered dominant scale is the 7th mode of a melodic minor scale. So let's see how that works. Here we see the C melodic minor scale characterized by the minor 3rd, the major 6th and major 7th degree. Now, starting this C melodic minor scale on the 7th note B, we'll get a mode of the melodic minor scale. It is the so-called B altered dominant scale. So why the name altered then? Well, that's simple, because reference to the B major scale, all the notes are altered. That means lowered or raised, except for the major 3rd. So let's see what we have. We have a flat 9, C, a sharp 9, D, because it's enharmonic equal to C double sharp, a major 3rd, E flat, because it's enharmonic equal to D sharp, a flat 5, F, a sharp 5, G, because it's enharmonic equal to F double sharp, and a minor 7th, A. Now, all these notes deliver such an enormous amount of tension that resolving to the tonic or any other tonic-sized chord sounds beautiful. And that is why the altered scale is used often to create an outside feel with a very satisfying resolution. Now, and that is what we're going to abuse. Not the scale itself, but in another way. Now, just playing the altered scale over a dominant chord works only so much. Therefore, we'll take another approach. Now, there are two chords that can be found in this altered scale that contain some very important altered notes. You know what? Let's look at all the chords in the altered scale first. Now, we got a strange set of chords in the altered scale. We got a B dominant 7 sharp 5 or flat 5, a C minor major 7 chord, a D minor 7 chord, an E flat major 7 sharp 5 chord, the F dominant 7 and G dominant 7 chord, and the A minor 7 flat 5 chord. And this results in a strange sound if we just play them in a row. So let's not play this on a beach party. But we can use some of these chords to outline the altered scale. Now, because the altered scale is the mode of a melodic minor scale, we can use the tonic of that melodic minor scale as an arpeggio over the dominant or altered dominant chord. For instance, E altered is the 7th mode of the F melodic minor scale. Now these scales contain the same notes, only the starting point is different. That's how modes work. One starts on F and the other starts on E. Now the tonic of the F melodic minor scale is the F minor major 7 chord containing the root F, the minor 3rd A flat, the 5th C and the major 7th E. Now a nice shape for this arpeggio will look like this. Over the dominant E7 sharp 5 chord, for instance, these notes have other functions. The F is the flat 9. The A flat is the major 3rd because it's enharmonic equal to G sharp. The 5th C is the sharp 5 because it's the same as B sharp. And the E is obviously the root of the E7 sharp 9 chord. So that makes it obvious that these notes and thus the F minor major 7 arpeggio work very well over an E altered chord. Let's have a listen. By the way, pay attention that you resolve to a chord tone of the next chord or any other interesting note that binds the tension to the resolution. And this can be a leading tone, so a half step, or a 5-1 movement. And best practice is a leading tone. The darker type of the two sisters can be found on the minor 7th degree. In the E altered scale, this is the D minor 7 flat 5 chord, or D half diminished chord if you like. Looking at the notes of the D minor 7 chord, we'll see a root D, a minor 3rd F, a diminished 5th A flat, and a minor 7th C. Now two shapes that work well are these. Now again, these notes get a different meaning when played over a E dominant 7 chord. The note D becomes the minor 7th, the F becomes the flat 9, A flat is enharmonic equal to G sharp, M is the major 3rd, and C is enharmonic equal to B sharp and is the augmented 5th or sharp 5. And in the next example I have used a leading tone in the second run, E alt to A minor 7 from C to B. Now, and when we're at it, we can easily combine the two sisters to create an harmonic dominant altered line. Go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/qjamtracks, then you'll find a sheet with more arpeggio shapes and also example licks using this technique. Now it is well known that getting the essence and overall sound of a scale can be done by playing the chords or chord arpeggios of that scale instead of just the notes up and down. Now we'll add harmonic value to the sound of the scale by playing chords of each degree. And often we only need 2 arpeggios to represent the entire scale. And this is also the goal of triad pair improvising, for instance, which is an effective and common technique, especially in jazz. This was also an example of such an harmonic approach. And to study this further, you could try to find out which arpeggios work well for other scales. How would you define the harmonic minor scale, for instance, with 2 arpeggios, or the Dorian sharp 4, to name an exotic pearl among the scales. Anyway, just an idea to elaborate. Now I hope this was crystal clear, and I'd like to welcome you again in the next lesson in a new video. And you can find ebooks about all kinds of interesting subjects in my ebook store, and you can support the channel by becoming a patron, and you'll get discounts too. For now, really thanks for watching and bye.